Hi Gemini, this is your homework family reading for August, 15th through the 31st. We hit the bell. Okay, I already know where we're at. Sorry, this is for Spirit. I already know where we're at. But can you help me know we're rising it? See, most of y'all don't necessarily know when the bell gets to a higher frequency, the frequency is raising. Alright. Let me even figure out where to start. Gemini, you guys are really in like a tug of war with yourself is what I'm getting. Maybe not for all of you, but for those that I'm channeling, that's really what I'm getting. And for what Spirit's giving me, I feel you're coming through because they're sending me directly to one of the planets that I always look at in the Kuiper belt, which is further out. Most people don't talk about it, Haumea. And Haumea, I'm going to be pulling it up. They say right off the bat, you need to have more confidence in yourself. Be more confident is what they were directing me to right then. They're sending me to Haumea, and this has to do with your collective consciousness. And in truth, depending on where you are on your path, yes, depending on where you are on your path and how deep you are in your soulfulness of that collective consciousness will depend on how well you take this energy and what you do with it. Right? Well, I know that. Alright, I'm trying to have a conversation with them on how to bring it out so it doesn't sound negative, because I don't necessarily feel that it's negative. Okay, first off, Spirit is like, okay, I eat a lot of chocolate. Me and a couple of my medium friends, we realized that the chocolate has to do with that higher vibration, and it's not necessarily the healthiest thing for you, but the thing is, when we're eating a lot of the chocolate, it's a higher vibration. It's like an ecstasy, addictive energy that helps make you rise. Basically, it's fitting in or satisfying that urge, that addiction, which happens to rise up. But this also has to do with sweetness. And I say a lot of times when I'm dealing with people as a medium and they're searching for sweets, it's usually when they're searching for sweets or they're overindulging in sweets. Even though as a medium, I'm saying we do it a lot because we're looking at it from, this is why I said it has to do with the collective consciousness. Because a lot of times you'll start, if you're not finding happiness in your life, you're not finding the sweetness in your life, then you're overly looking for sweets in a different way to satisfy the need of what you are not getting. Okay? Versus we are being told, like from the medium standpoint, we look at it as the food of the gods. Because they're already high vibrational. They already are sweet. This is part of what I'm saying about where you are on your path of that collective consciousness. This is all about bringing confidence and sweetness to your life and enjoying your life at this time. Because what I'm being given is some situations from the root chakra. I don't feel like you're out of balance. I feel like you're being triggered in the chakras. Not necessarily out of balance, but being triggered for growth within those chakras. From the root chakra, all the way, all of them, except for the third eye and the crown. I feel like the third eye and the crown comes last, because it's definitely the heart chakra dealing with the throat chakra, but it's coming all the way down to that root and sacral chakra about how you feel about yourself. But they are saying this is going to come from being confident as you move forward and believe in yourself and have hope and faith into what you are trying to create, because they're giving me pride, blame, fear, sexual frustration, and judgment. And what I feel like is you're torn. I feel like you're torn, like you are really just trying to overthink a situation that's really not that difficult to think through, but you're putting so much emphasis on the thought and the idea that you're actually ripping it apart and taking any enjoyment, any passion, action, aggression, fire, any of that fire-filled energy, and you're like making it dissipate, because I feel like you're putting too much thought, overthinking it, and that's the one side of the twin energy, because like I said, this is Gemini. This is going to deal with this is going to be, I think, raising up that solar plexus energy. And from the solar plexus, I've said this before, when you bring the solar plexus up and then you align them to that solar plexus, it brings a new level of power, a new level of self-esteem, a new vision that creates new wisdom. And that's pretty much where they're taking me on this. But there's going to be relationship grief that you are working through as you're getting there. Now, I'm also being told, and I got to look in your astrology as to exactly what that means, because let me double check something, because I'm being given to pay attention to Mars and Venus for you when I get into astrology. So let me back up here and make sure I'm not missing something. It's dealing with creative energy within your collective consciousness. How Maya, which I will put, is straight across the skies from Eris. And Eris is trouble, toil, strife. Okay? And I'll get back to that in a minute. But how Maya is the Hawaiian goddess of fertility. She is childbirth. She is nature. She is fire and rocks. She is, from, everybody's heard of From Easter Island. This is where she, no, that's Maki Maki. You know, they're saying the rest of that goes the other way. But she's about fertility. She's about childbirth, nurture, fire, rocks. She's very much a grounded earth energy. I feel that you are being told to ground yourself and find the sweetness in your life. And from that, pull that sweetness in and recalibrate, in a sense, your chakras to that solar plexus and rise them that way. Very interesting. I've said that before to other people. It's just interesting the way they put it to me then. Because I feel like you're tormenting yourself in certain areas without meaning to. You're just like over analyzing it, and by doing so you're taking the enjoyment out of it. Alright, let me see. Because they made me pull up another astrology chart specifically for you at the time, because I needed to see where some certain things were, so that I could make sure I wasn't getting this incorrect. But it really just mainly has to do with how Maya. Alright, let me jump to the other chart so that I know to add that in that spot. Wrong button. I do apologize. We're going to be in Gemini, so let's just turn it this way, and then I'll start talking. Alright, when we look at the astrology, the full moon happens on the 15th. It's going to take place in Pisces. That's the universal 12th house. But for you, that would have been Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That will be it coming into that universal 10th house for you, which is speaking to your honor, your reputation, your prestige, your professional career, financial success, financial community, social foundations within that financial community, duty, authority, and responsibility. So, in Pisces, we tend to really want to magically believe and have compassion and really believe things that can be good, and it can be if you're taking it the right way, if you're building from that Neptune energy in a positive way. But if you're any way nostalgic, then this could be a time where we get taken advantage of, because in Pisces we want to believe people are good when they're not necessarily always good. We want to give them the chance, but we kind of already know better. So I'm letting you know this is that kind of energy that you may have been acknowledging in that professional area. The honor, reputation, prestige, financial success, financial community, that social foundation that creates the responsibilities of that authority of that outer world. Are right there around the 15th when you had the full moon. So things typically at the full moon get brought to light so that you can see things that need to shift and change. Because usually it's something that you have to get rid of, cut the cord, let go of, move forward, something you need to bring to light so that you can start to make it healthier. Now, you're going to have, on the 18th, Mars moves into Virgo. On the 21st, Venus moves into Virgo. On the 22nd, the Sun moves into Virgo. On the 28th, you have the new moon in Virgo. And then on the 22nd, you have the Sun. No, on the 29th, you have Mercury then moving into Virgo. So everybody's about to move into Virgo, starting on the 18th and just whipping right on through. You have Jupiter that will have just gone direct on the 11th. You'll have Uranus that will have just gone retrograde on the 11th. And let me make sure you're getting this understood. Mercury has no desire to chill out in Leo. It moved in on the 11th, and it's going to already be out of Leo and into Virgo on the 29th. So it's like, I'm going to get in here, I'm going to say what I got to say, and move on. And Mercury being in shadow, even though it's come back out of retrograde, it will be in shadow, flipping back over to the proper direct position, no longer in shadow, as it whips through Leo before the 29th. It's going to be kind of like no holds bar. I mean, your mouth is going to be very much, let me just say what the fuck I feel like saying, pretty much. Because Leo kind of has that energy, we bring it out that way. I say we because I'm a Leo. Now, for you, all of this energy is about to move into Virgo. So let's see where Virgo is for you. Your universal fourth house, that makes so much more sense. Your universal fourth house, I'm being told to pay attention to Mars and Venus as they are moving into that universal fourth house. Mercury is traveling through that universal third house of Leo in like 2 weeks' time, which happens to be your communication house. So you're pretty much going to be very quick-tongued. Very short, quick, well, and I don't want to say short and sweet, because I really feel like it's not going to be short and sweet. I feel like you're going to be very direct, a little bit, I don't want to say crude. I don't even want to say rude. I'm being told all of my life as a Leo that I'm very brash. I'm very blunt, and I kind of can say it so bluntly that it seems like it has no heart, because I'm very to the point with it. And I feel like this is the energy you're going to be feeling from the 11th through the 28th. Through the 29th, before Mercury moves into Virgo. Because that third house is your communication house. It is messaging systems of all kind. It is telling you to pay attention to the details, and the intellect, the trivia, the communication that you have, whether it is personal phone calls, gossip, deliveries, but it also does deal with siblings and neighbors. And then it moves into Virgo, which is that universal fourth house, where it will start coupling up with Mars, Venus, Ura, or Jura, however you pronounce it, and the Sun, which will all be in Virgo, which is that universal fourth house, speaking to you of your inner emotional security, speaking to you of your roots, your upbringing, your true, real self, your karmic lessons, so that reincarnation can be made. It's speaking to you of where it is you came from and where it is in the long run you will return. The soul. This is why I call it the inner emotional security. But it also does speak with your inner child, because it's the home. All right? Now, like I said, I feel like you're going to be abruptly very much just speaking your mind for the first couple weeks. But then you're going to have all of these energies moving in, and I'm seeing what all it's really going to be communicating with. That explains a lot. It is going to be having conversations with Eris, Uranus, and Jera. Or not Jera, Vista. Which happens to be that 12th house, the 11th house, and your 4th house. So you are going to be dealing with underneath, unconsciously. This is why I feel like you're being, fighting within. Because you're dealing with some of those hidden self issues, some of that unconscious issues, unconscious mind in general, some of your karmic debts, self-deception, mental illnesses, self-sacrificing, self-undoing, where the bad habits were created, became patterns, and we don't really know how to fix them, so we're going to place them up in that closet and make sure enough dust is in front of them that we can ignore them and never pay attention again. This is also where we hide situations with prison, government situations that we've had to deal with, government officials, government officers as well, suicide, murder, kidnapping, grief, sorrow, shame, secrets, all of that stuff that's in that universal 12th house, which is the skeletons in the closet, what you like to keep dormant because you don't know how to heal. It is coming directly into a conversation with Uranus, which is going retrograde or has gone retrograde in this area. This is your independence, your individuality, your uniqueness, your freedom, your self-worth, your self-value, your self-esteem in that 12th house, looking at Eris, because it's in retrograde, in the 11th house of the community, the goals, the wishes, the dreams, the ambitions. Eris is in the 11th house with Chiron in the 11th house, wanting to make healing changes, but Eris is Medusa in that 11th house where your ambitions are, your hopes, your goals, your dreams, your wishes, those larger communities, and the true self-realization is fighting that universal 12th house, because Eris is Medusa. She's trouble, toil, strife, and she's going, there's been injustice here, and I want it served. And Chiron on the other side of Eris is going, well, sometimes you don't get to have that justice. And we have to not make do, but we have to let go of what's no longer working, because we've got to make healing to make something new work. And it is fighting because your independence, your individuality, your uniqueness, your freedom, your self-worth, your self-value, your self-esteem is hiding in that skeleton in the closet with all of your unconsciousness, all of your karmic debts, all of your self-deception, your grief, your sorrow, your secrets, your shame, your blame. your bad habits that you've created, and they're both trying to fight with the universal fourth house, which is the home of who and what you are. It is your inner emotional security. It's what created you to be you, where you came from and where you will return soulfully. It is karmic lessons that brings in the reincarnation of the self. This is a true self evolution within yourself. Yeah, this is like a soulful revolution within yourself that you are dealing with at this time. And Vista brings to it the very soul fire coming out of that 12th house, speaking to the home and the hearth of who you are, speaking to the other home of the hearth and who you are. So this is all of your secrets, all of your denial, all of your actual skeleton, your shadow is going, we need to talk. And you're not going to get away from me now. More or less. This is what I'm pulling out of this. This is a positive thing. However, this energy is definitely fighting the rules, walls, and boundaries of what you have to shift and what you have to change so that the reincarnation can be made. What you have to believe in about yourself, which is for you, 8th house, speaking to you about taking responsibility for the rules within the relationships, the joint finances, the joint resources, the joint efforts, or making sure that you're being responsible about the other people putting in the proper joint efforts so that transformational healing is made. And if they're not putting in the joint efforts, the proper efforts, they need to be cut loose. Because that will go right back to you having the North Node in Cancer, which is actually your second house of your self-worth, your self-value, your self-esteem, what you value. And it will be fighting that very energy of those relationships and having them be ones that support you as you want to go forward and be part of the proper vibrational life that you wish to create versus maybe the one you've been in. Now, if I go to what Spirit was saying directly, they are saying Eris is directly across from Haumea because they were directing me to Libra for you, which is, again, your universal 5th house. They are telling you your creative consciousness comes from the level of where it is you are on your true path and how deeply mature you are spiritually of that collective consciousness. And what, in a form, where you stand in those dimensional energies. Because where you stand in those dimensional energies will be what reflects that 5th house. And that 5th house is speaking to you of your pursuit of pleasure. How do you get to enjoy life? And let's not look at it from just a third dimensional level of, well, I would enjoy sex. I would enjoy, a good dinner. I would enjoy, a home that is beautiful. No, those are material things, and human beings technically are a physical, tangible situation, which brings us back to that third dimensional being, egotistical and material. Let's look at what the soul wants and needs to desire happiness. What does the soul say you are? What does the soul say you need in order to be happy? Well, the soul's always going to be happy, but the soul knows that ego is going to try to keep you from getting there. So, what do you need to do as a human being to tell ego to shut the fuck up? And I'm going to be happy because this is who I am. This is what I want. This is what I've not been giving myself. Great example. I wear this stuff on my head because I like it. because it makes me feel good. It helps me stay connected to spirit. I wear bells on my ankles because it helps me to move the vibrational energy that I do not want to deal with away from me. I don't give a shit what everybody else thinks. I'm not here to care about what they think. I do this because this is what I want. This is what makes me happy. I'm a Leo. The way I dress makes me happy. If I'm not dressed to a way that makes me feel good about myself, then I'm not happy. It may be materialistic and it may be third dimensional, but it's what I know I need to help me shift myself into the goddess energy of what I desire to be, to help me create my happiness. Let's not look at just the small things. Let's look at the big picture of what creates that happiness. That's speaking to you of your creative life, of allowing your inner child to speak to you about helping you create that happiness. It's speaking to you of the dating, the romance, the sex. It is speaking to you about your sports, your hobbies. What is it that makes you enjoy life on all levels? You know what I'm saying? Take the time to love the life that you have, but take the time to make sure you're putting that love into the creative energy that makes you love the life you have. Not loving the life you're stuck with, loving the life you have. Because you want it, because you created it, because you brought it in. You manifested it by knowing who and what you are and what you need and creating yourself on an authentic level to go, this is me. I like me this way. I like who I am. And then from there, that sweetness will start to come in. This is getting on a new level of that higher dimensional collective consciousness. But what's fighting you there is going, Eris is straight across the sky, like Spirit was saying. And that 11th house, which is the community, those larger groups of friends that either support or don't support your wishes, your hopes, your dreams, your ambitions, your integrity, your liberty, your self-realization. If they're not your soul tribe that's supporting what you want to be because you figured out who you are, then why are you entertaining them being there in the first place? Because Eris is in that house, trouble, toil, strife. And Chiron is in that house telling you where you have the wrong people in this area, and they are fighting you from being able to get to those hopes, those wishes, those goals, those dreams, finding the integrity and the liberty to be that true self-realization of that higher self, because it was created by the 5th house telling you what you enjoy. I mean, it's pretty much where they're sticking everything for you. Because it's exactly what Spirit was giving me. Now, you are going to find a lot of these energies are going to be coming in of your self-motivated, self-motivated, action-oriented, and self-assertive energies. But they are going to be projected outwardly towards the other people, those relationships, and the outer world, into that material world. You're going to be learning how to take that from that 12th house, heal it, and project it outwardly, and that's going to change your manifestation. If you are able to get deep enough and true enough with yourself with the highest level of collective consciousness. Healthcare change is the first card that's picking up. This could be saying there may be health situations coming up for some of you. Some of you may need to visit a doctor, visit a healthcare. Maybe it's a mental situation. Maybe you need counseling. Maybe you need help believing in yourself for some of you. Maybe this is just talking about your diet in general. But your diet is also the people that you speak to, the energy that you consume. Okay, so this could be talking about you're changing that everyday mundane task as the energy is to what you consume. Health care changes. You need to make changes in your life that support your health and your enjoyment in life, your love of life, your mental support, your spiritual support. This is telling you to make the healthcare changes that you need. And like I said, a lot of this energy is coming out of that 12th house and trying to find healing. But if you think that it's a doctor situation or a counseling situation and that you think that's what you need, seek out that guidance. What else does Gemini need to hear right now? Considering butterflies, you're the first ones to come up. And if butterflies have been coming up all over the place, which means for all of us, we have transformation coming in. Spiritual growth. What have I been talking about? They give me Haumea. Haumea is the collective consciousness. And it all depends on where you are on your level of that collective consciousness. This is a time of spiritual growth for spiritual healing for you. Which, anytime you're going through a major time of spiritual growth and spiritual healing, I tell everybody, anytime you are, you need to take some time for you. You know, take some time to pamper you, to love you. Take a time off where, you know what, nobody's going to talk to me today. Text, phone, done. Computer, done. I'm going to the fucking river. I'm going to the beach. I'm going to do the movies. I'm going to do me. I'm going to do me. And you know what? I enjoy it and I deserve it. And sometimes in order to get right, you got to tell the world around you, zip it, not today. Because that's part of spiritual growth. It's part of loving yourself and healing yourself so that you can actually receive the growth, which also is part of healthcare and change. More or less. The next card that's coming in is courage. And they were saying to have confidence in yourself. This is saying there's going to be some changes that are going to be difficult. You may not originally like. No. Where is it? Get some rest and love yourself. But they're also saying you're moving. You could actually be making a move in one way or another. Somebody else could be moving. You might be dealing with situations of moving. And then this also may be a level of taking care of yourself because you're elevating into a new level of your own spiritual growth. Is there anything else? You were throwing me off, butterflies. Realization and epiphanies. This is going back to spiritual growth. Something's going to hit you. And it's going to be like, it all makes sense now. Something's going to come in and make you start seeing things from a different point of view. And pay attention to those things because obviously it's meant to help you mature and grow in your life in whatever way that's meant to be. At this time. What else does Gemini need to hear to help them move forward in the most positive and healing ways from the 15th through the 31st? What does Gemini need to hear? Grounded manifestation and growth. You're being given the Prince of Discs, which is also the Prince of Pentacles, so to speak, because this deck doesn't have pentacles. This is the Chariot of Earth. This is, you're moving forward, but you're moving forward with a purpose. However, you're not moving forward incredibly quickly. Okay, because the Chariot is the bull moving forward, but the bull is abundance coming in. But the bull also is stubborn about what he's willing to do and when he's willing to move. It is the Chariot that's all-powerful, moving in, grounding and sustaining the growth. So it has to move slowly. But with that slow movement and that true depth of time that it's going to take him to get that, it brings maturity, which brings the true manifestation forward. Sorry, dropped a whole bunch of cards. With understanding the Prince of Pentacles, which is the Prince of Discs, it brings you success. It is the Six of Discs, the Six of Pentacles. It is material success. It is success built upon the knowing of what you are doing. It brings in the new opportunity and the adventure. This is Mars, Jupiter, Venus, Mercury, the moon, all in Taurus. Looking in Taurus, when I see it, Taurus is looking for heaven on earth. So it's trying to bring forward the heaven on earth, manifest it, bringing prosperity and commitment to the success that it is growing. But it's going to be taking its time making that. So you may not even be noticing this until, a month or so down the road. But it is definitely something that is being built. Don't tell me I just put them all backwards. I sure did. Is that what we're talking about? Do I get to have permission to switch the deck? Of course not. No, Shell, you messed up. I keep my decks all right side up, and if Spirit wants it to be upside down, they will flip it. And a lot of times, if I get a card in here that's upside down, they warm it by telling me, hey, I'm not right. But when I do it and more or less they're telling me, too bad. You screwed it up, you fix it. That's what they're telling me, more or less right now. So let me make sure. Alright, while I was going through them all, the next one out was saying, though this is going to be actually, this is telling you swiftness. This is the Eight of Wands. This is saying, I get it. The Eight of Wands, this is rapid changes. This is Mercury coming in with Induus. Induus is a rune speaking to you of your four, your emotional, your mental, your spiritual, and your physical, coming into a one level of consciousness. This is telling you to seize this opportunity that you have at this moment to help you move forward. Take fast action at getting right with this energy. It is a spiritual surge, is what I was just told. This is Mercury in Sagittarius. This is floating with the communication that is being given to you. It is a need for that clear communication from Spirit, which is saying, take the firepower of the soul right now. Listen to it. But take the success it's about to bring you with the time. But don't waste your time with getting connected so that this can start. This, I feel like I'm being told, this is not going to start moving forward for you if you don't get connected. If you don't get connected and really start working on that collective consciousness and what it is truthfully you want by facing your own shadow in some of these situations to make the healing, then it's going to slow you down, is what they're telling me. They're telling you to have strength. This is the Leo card, so you may have a Leo of significance popping up in your life. This is telling you to have endurance. And the very thing that they were saying in the beginning, self-confidence. This is allowing that sun energy in Sagittarius to illuminate you. You've had Sagittarius energy now pop up twice. So you may have a Sagittarius of significance popping up in your life as well. This is hope, faith, and trust. And this is the very first thing that they were saying in the beginning of the reading. Princess of Wands, speaking to you of your inner fire. This is telling you you're going to learn things the hard way, but this is also telling you to be confident and daring, it's freeing and an exciting energy. It brings confidence and daring energy to it. It is learning things the hard way because you're going to be overcoming bad patterns and bad habits. So I would tell you, pay attention to some of these everyday daily tasks in your mundane situations. There's bad habits here. All of us have them. There's some bad habits, bad addictions, bad patterns that don't serve you anymore. And the ones that don't serve you, you need to acknowledge and start shifting them and changing them. Because this is how you get set free. and you enter that higher level of consciousness. This is how you get set free. Bringing forth the King of Wands, the Knight of Wands, passion, charge, Leo, fire again. Leo again in your cards. Sorry, because I didn't show it to you. He's charging in after his passion. He's charging in after his fire. You got the Leo strength card. You may definitely have a Leo, and you may definitely have a Sagittarius, or there's at least some. This is either telling you you're definitely coming into your power, your fire power energy. Fire is passion, action, aggression, sexual energy. Talking to you about how you feel about yourself. It's your sacral chakra. But this could also, because you've got fire energy coming in all over. You could definitely have a Leo of significance, a Sagittarius of significance. I'm not really feeling the Aries energy. Aries does come with this card. But there's definitely a fire sign in your life that's there to help you overcome these situations. Help you find your inner power and move forward, so that you can truthfully ground it and bring it into tangible reality. This is the Queen of Discs, which is the Queen of Pentacles. This is all telling you about this time. It's a mothering energy, a nurturing energy, help you conjure the beginning of something. It could be courtship again. It could be dating. It could be parenting, it could be wealth and prosperity, but the point is this is taking all that power, all that healing energy, all that fire, passion energy of coming into that new level of consciousness, that new healing from that 12th house and into that universal 4th house of the true self, the depths of the authenticness, and allowing it to come through and starting to lift it into tangible reality. It could be bringing in a relationship, but the relationship could also be bringing in a relationship and nurturing yourself as well as you move forward. And let's be honest, if you're not nurturing yourself well enough, then any relationships you have aren't going to be healthy ones until you are. So you're the one who's talking to me now. What do we need to leave Gemini with? Wow, that was quick and easy. Richness. Search further. The deeper you explore this issue, the more truth you will find in it. It will be well worth the efforts. Anything else Gemini needs for this time around? Well, always look for the good, even in the most difficult of the situations. You were definitely coming through some changes. I definitely feel some inner battling, fighting with yourself. But listen to the battle, because the battle, I tell people all the time, when my vibrations, often my vibrations that are at their highest when I'm pissed off. And it's not because I'm a bad person. It's because, oh my God, I've realized what I'm lying to myself about. Now I can take appropriate action. That doesn't mean that I have right to act like a banshee. That means I'm no longer lying. Let me sit down, calm down, realize this new truth, and then redirect what I need to redirect. Indifference. Some things are worth worrying over, but this is not one of them. Let go of the situation and reclaim the happiness that has been stolen from you or from your past events. Like I said, sometimes, I feel like this goes exactly with what I was talking about. Sometimes the negative things that have pissed me off have been the things that's made me realize the change, the bad pattern, the bad addiction that I've created and I've allowed, and I kept going. But I didn't realize that I did it because I hadn't dealt with the truth of the matter. I hadn't come to the truth of it. But when I finally got pissed off enough to be pissed off, I could see the truth of it all from a whole new level. But how do we deal with those things? That's when you have to step back and really look at it from a new, valid point of view. Make gentleness a habit. Because I feel like they're telling you, you're going to see some situations that are going to pop up and you're not going to like, but this is all going to deal with that collective consciousness and where and how you choose to drive it. Learn to keep your heart open and soften. Learn to keep your heart open and soft through the trials of life. Like I was just saying, when I've been angry, it's taught me right from wrong. It's been the free will choice to choose how to act properly versus just being mad and doing something I would regret. We all have to be responsible for our actions. And eventually, as we will get our way out of our 12th house, the only way we get out is by being responsible for our actions and taking the appropriate changes from spiritual maturity. I love you guys. And I'll see you in September. Bye.